Welcome back everyone. Today we'll discuss about composite function. What is its definition, how to solve it, and how to find the values from table and the graph, okay? So let's start it. What is composite function? When you have two or more function, right? More, and you combine them into one function, that one function is called a composite function, okay? So let's say, look at an example. So let's say we have a box here. Then we want to put this box into another box. Now you want to make this box just one box, okay? So let's just do it. One box. Let's make this into a one box. So this box, this entire box is now our composite function. Composite function, okay? So that's mean when you combine two or more function into one function, that gives you a composite function. To make it more clear in mathematical terms, let's say you have x, right? Then you want to put this x into gx, a function into g, right? Let's say this is a g, so it's going to be g of x, okay? Now you want to put this function into here, f. So it's going to be f of g of x, right? So how do you read it? You read like that, f of g of x. Or you can just simply write it down. This one is this, f of g of x. So if you have a, now also we also write down this is just like f of g function, okay? Or if you want to do the vice versa one, you can just write it down g of f. So let's look at an example that will make much more clear for you guys. Uh, let's say we have f of x equal x plus 3, okay? And we have g of x equal x plus 2. Now, what will be f of g, right? So what is f of g? It's going to be simply f of g of x, okay? Now, what will be our g of x? So g of x is simply what we have here, x plus 2. So we can just write down x plus 2. It's very simple, guys. Just you have to plug in the values, that's all. So once you have f of x plus 2, now look at here. What is f of x? X plus 3. So now instead f of x is just x plus 3, right? So now if you just plug in f of x plus 2, so you see instead of x, you have to plug in x plus 2. So instead of x, you just plug in x plus 2. And then you have plus 3. That's all. So x plus 2 plus 3 is just going to be x plus 5. So this is your f of x plus 2, okay? The value of x plus 2. Now you can just simply write it down here. F of x plus 2 is just simply x plus 5. So x plus 5. So this will be your answer. Now, what if they ask you to find out f of g of, let's say, 2? How do you do that? So you do the same thing. You simply write it down, f of g of 2. Now, there is two way you can do that here. You can just simply, since you already find out the function x plus 5, so first you can find out the function x plus 5 here. Then you plug in just 2 into x plus 5. and you will get the answer. That's mean you can just plug in here 2 x instead of x, you plug in 2, then plus 5, which is 7. Or you can do other way, like this, f of g of 2, right? You can just write down f of g of 2. Now you find out g of 2. So g of x equal this, right? Now let's find out g of 2. So g of 2 is just simply, instead of x you replace with 2, you just plug in the values, plus 2, which is 4. So you already know the g of 2 is 4, so you can just plug in it here. F g of 2 is just 4. Now since you have this value, now you plug in it here. So you have f of 4. You have to find out f of 4. Let's find out f of 4. So f of 4. So instead of x, you just replace x with 4 plus 3. 4 plus 3 is just 7, right? So f of 4 is just 7. Either way, you will get the same answer, 7, 7. So you can choose either way. So hopefully this example clears your view. What's the definition and how to solve it. Now, since we know how to solve the composite function from the previous example, now let's find out domain and range, right, for this composite function. So what is composite function again? Just to remind you guys, it's just two or more function when you make it one function, right? So let's say you have f of x equal, let's say, x plus 3, and g of x equal x plus 5. So the composite function is just simply f of g of x, right? So for the domain, it's gonna be just domain of this function. So first you have to find out the function. So let's say find out this one. So if gonna be f of g of x, right? So what is g of x? G of x is just simply x plus 5. X plus 5. Okay. So if you replace x with x plus 5, that means instead of x, you have to write down here x plus 5 and plus 3. So which is x plus 8. So f of g of x, this is our composite function, and we ended up it is x plus 8. So x plus 8. So now we have the function. Now we have to find out the domain and range of this function. So what's the domain of this function? Is just gonna be x is all the real number, right? And how about the range? Range is gonna be y is all the real number. That's mean here any x values and y values, any x values is y are defined. This function is defined. So to find out the domain and range, just simply solve the composite function, then find out the domain and range for that solutions. That will be your domain and range for composite function. Now let's find out a composite function from a table, right? So we have to write it down, just g of f of 2, right? This one. Now g, whatever value we have, this is our x values. So we just find out the x here, 2. X is 2. What's the x of 2 for g of x? F of x, sorry. F of x is just 3. So we can just write down 3 straight, since it's f of 2. Now again, we have to find out 3 in x values here. So we have 3. What's the value for g of x for this 3? Is just 2, right? So simply we have to write down 2. That is our answer. For f of g of 0, I find out the answer this way. You guys try and practice it. So guys, let's find out the composite function f of 0 of this from this graph. So this is our f of x, this is our g of x. So we have g of 0, right? That's mean the x values is 0. When x is 0, g of g is 1, right? So you can just write down f is 1. Now when x is 1, what is our f value? When x is 1, our f value is simply here, 4. So the answer is just 4. This is so easy. So can you guys find out now this one, g of f of 0? Once you find out, please write down the answer in the comment section, okay?